Hi everybody, it's Diane here with a very explosive fabric scrap bag. So let's make some fabric clusters. That should be ironed. I haven't done that in a long time. We need a base thing here. Let's get the fabric scissors. Wouldn't that be a novel idea? And generally speaking, I don't think I'm that great at this either, like the paper clusters. But I have made some that I like. I've stuck them in journals and that kind of thing. This old burlap. And we'll see. I'm just doing fabric right now. If I want to add a button or a snap or I don't know, what else would you put on it? I suppose you could put a little paper embellishment, but there's no rules or laws on this. I have my ribbon scraps too. Sometimes that's nice. This adds a little something. Threads, like a wad of threads are kind of nice too sometimes. Okay, there's one. And I'm going to sew and or glue off camera. This is denim. That should be ironed too. Don't tell anybody. So do tell, what do you do with fabric scraps? Or do you not save fabric scraps? I have put them together on notebooks and that kind of thing. And it turns out cute. I like that look a lot. But to be honest, it's a pain for me, maybe other people do it differently, but I feel you have to have it all secured. So that's a lot of sewing or gluing, whatever you're gonna do. And generally speaking, I don't like doing that much work at once. All right, two. Well, we actually had a warm day yesterday. It was over 80. I know my neighbors turn their air on, which they do it more than I do anyway, but it was warm. So today it's not so warm yet. This is morning. There's a nice breeze. But yeah, it's kind of very different. I mean, that was probably the warmest day we've had so far. Oh yeah, I'm not used to this yet. Oh, I should get my pinking shears out, shouldn't I? That's a nice look too, to pink some edges. Well, I'll do that on my own. I'm not going to stand here and make 100 right in front of you That would be too boring. All right, there's another one. If I make 100, which I probably could do with all this stuff, I'll put some in my Etsy shop as like a random bulk listing thing. If anyone is interested. But that remains to be seen. This fabric is old. I made myself a shirt. Oh, I'm not even gonna say how long ago. A long time ago. Diane, you're clunking your scissors an awful lot. I noticed that. I'm sorry. Try to be more careful. If I only had some fabric or something to set them on. We'll do something clever with that. Okay, 4. Only 96 more to go. And I was kidding. I don't intend to make 100. And I'm not real worried about being super straight or anything like that. If anything is really wonky, I will iron it. Don't worry. Isn't that pretty? I think that's neat. I think that's old. But it doesn't go with this. And even if I made 100, I don't know if it would make much of a dent in this. What do you think? Because the pieces are so small. All right, that's another one. All right, let's make one more together. And then I'll make 1,000,000. And then maybe we'll come back and see if I want to add buttons or something. Some such thing. Okay, or if you do make clusters, what do you put on yours? Or nothing to decorate? You know, actually, I was just thinking a word that could be interesting, couldn't it? You know, a little positive word on a cardstock. You could staple it on, glue it on, sew it on. Maybe we'll do that. I don't know, Diane, can you come up with positive words? All right, one more little something on that. Okay, I'm going to continue on and we'll see how many she does. Come back. Okay, I'm back 2 days later. Isn't that nice? Take a wild guess. How many? There's no prize. Take a wild guess. Because I was thinking, you know, I said I could make 100, and I thought, oh, I should be cute and make 100, you know, and I wasn't going to count. And then I had so much fabric out, and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to use as much as I could possibly use. There are a few bigger pieces I kept, you know, as is. Just use it up, however long it takes, you know. So that's what I did. There's 101. Isn't that weird? So we have them broken up into needs a button, unsure, and I don't think needs a button. You know, I had thought of, I mentioned words, or I even thought later like a postage stamp, a little, scrapbook paper, something. But then the more I thought about it, I stopped thinking so much. I kind of thought, well, if somebody really wanted to use this in a junk journal type scenario, and I've got a word, journey I put on, that's good. That's a cute button. And they're not doing anything about traveling, then it's not going to work. So I decided I'm going to go with buttons on a few things, and that's it. A new owner could certainly always add. I need something green. Look how thick that is. It's weird. I have no idea where that came from. Most of these are old. A lot of them were my relatives. No. So anyway, I was just going to pick a few buttons with you guys. Then I'll sew on a bunch of buttons. I suppose you could glue them. I wouldn't really trust that, I don't think. Might be all right. Okay. And they all have one row of zigzag stitching. And what I'm going to do is here and there, like, this is awfully gappy. I mean, I'm going to tack a little glue under there. I'm not going to sew anymore. I did a ton of sewing. I used a ton of thread. I'm done sewing. Okay. How about we'll get one set for this, and then I'll go off and sew. That matches, but do we want black? I think we want a color would be more interesting. Not that though. Just for the record, the ones with the embroidery floss that turned out pretty cool. It's easy to do, just scrunch it and run a zigzag over it and you're done. That's okay. And I'm probably going to sew all these with white thread. I don't think I'm going to go to all the trouble to... If I was only making a couple, I might coordinate my threads, but somebody has spent way too much time on these. And she's going to spend way too much time looking for buttons too, I think. No. That's interesting. I didn't do too many purple. I don't have a lot of purple fabric. There's a couple. I don't see any that need a button though. Ooh, she caught it. That almost flew off the table. And I think I'd use the maroon. That's okay. It has one of those wires on there from being on a card, All right, I'm going to take this dumb wire off. I'm going to sew on a bunch of buttons. And then we'll come back and discuss. I do plan on putting some of these in my shop if you're interested. I'm going to keep some too, though. I think I already mentioned that. Okay, then go get some pliers. All right, hang on. Okay, folks, these are all done. I did the buttons that on the stack I said needed that. It took me all evening and a little bit this morning, so I was just stopped with that. So a lot of them do not have an embellishment. If I could, I used a heavier backing. That was 8 o'clock. This is felt. This is like a twill. Um, this is just fabric. There are some that are just fabric, that is. There's some that are like a flannel, more 8 o'clock. This is corduroy. I did tack with glue here and there, just a little bit, just so you wouldn't have big flyaway things. There are some still loose areas, but nothing's going to fall off, definitely. The sizes are pretty small. Um, there's some around 3 inches, but generally speaking, they're probably more like 2. I am going to put these in my shop, and it'll be like the journal cards, random lots. Probably 8 or 10. I haven't quite decided yet. But yeah, definitely good way to use up your scrappy fabric things. And these are cool on pages. I've done that. I made some, they were Christmas, but small note cards. I put a cluster on, and then I did add a little ribbon, under it and stuff. That actually turned out really cute. I got a lot of compliments on that. Those. I sent them to a few people. Okay, well, thanks for coming along. Go play with your scraps. Have a good day, everybody.